Welcome back. We're waiting now here for game three, between Infamous and NoPing. Will Infamous be able to beat the fact that NoPing copied their strat? Will they instead try to sue them for copyright infringement? Who knows, but they need to think of something because otherwise game 3 is looking dire for them. We'll go into the draft in a second. I asked Trent before the break. Now I get to ask you, Winter. Changes for Infamous that you'd like to see in game number 3. What would you like them to do?
And just go back to what worked, in game 1.
So the strat that they got stolen.
Yeah, the strat. Just draft normally. They don't have to go for something too adventurous.
Okay.
And I think the combination I disliked the most the previous game was the support duo, because when you pick support duos like this, they lack a lot of things. It doesn't tick a lot of boxes. When you have silencer, you want to have like a Earth Spirit or Clockwork as a duo, so you can attack the enemy team, initiate, and you can click your global instead of like they jump you and you click your R button. It kind of sucks a lot if you have to do that as a silencer.
Okay, that's fair. They also found out that one of the issues was Tidehunter, and they banned it, so that's good. And look, they secured the Snapfire this time. All right.
Yeah, Snapfire
looking good.
Very strong hero.
Today, huh?
Is the question now are we getting Io Luna again? Is this gonna happen?
No. Surely.
No. Let's just go for Mars +1, That would be safe.
I like that. Monster's a monster Mars as well.
Yeah, Tide's banned already too, which is like the other good laner I think of with Snap, like the Mars and the Tide. So you take the Mars yourself, and then Snap's lane already is looking quite a bit weaker. I feel like I've seen a lot of Axe as that like third offlaner to try and put on some sort of pressure with a more aggressive hero like a Snap or a Weaver. And I don't think Axe is very good.
The other option they have is this is what I've seen certain teams do, and I feel it could be good. When you have last pick, you save your offlaner as the last hero. Because a lot of the play dictates around. We always talk about, they didn't TP to the offlane to open up the tower. That's why it's very important to wait for the carry matchup, and then you pick your offlaner so that you always have the advantageous matchup. But in this case, we are just gonna see a Mars early, because Mars and Tide, they're just pretty much my opinion, the strongest offlane heroes where you can open the draft with.
Probably Willow too, right? I feel like it's pretty good here. I think Willow's okay versus Snap. It's good with Mars.
I like the Willow.
They like to play at the old core. Probably one of his best heroes. I always think of his Bounty as another one, but that hero's dead. So
Bounty.
Yeah, it's Bounty, Techies, Willow, and Ruben.
Yeah, that kind of player that deserves a report in the game.
Yep. I actually would have loved the Techies here. I think Techies Mars is there was a time where whenever I casted with Winter, the first thing we would say on drafts is they should pick Techies. He's the most OP hero. And then I would ask him...
that was true for a while.
No, but then I would ask him, have you played him? Why do you say this? Like, I don't know. I have a feeling. And I go, okay, thank you, Winter. Cheers for that analysis.
Yeah, because don't you feel it in pubs? Every time there's a Techies on the opponent team, you're just waiting to lose, but you don't lose quickly. You lose like in 1 hour.
Or even if you win, it's not even satisfying. You're just like, okay, cool.
Get me out. Yeah, that's true.
In Joker.
So I thought for a second we were watching a mini, but no, it's going to be Alone Invoker, which is actually... So in case you guys don't know the story of Alone, not my panel, obviously they've done their research, but the viewers, Alone is this like super high MR player that came into the scene at 16. He was like 9k at 16. Everyone's like, wow, Alone is so good. Turns out his attitude was terrible and his grammar was even worse. And so he was kind of bounced around from team to team, mostly stating, I don't know how this guy can play in a team. He can barely speak the language. He only speaks one. But over time, of course, Alone became more professional, became much more disciplined, but the legend of his Invoker still stayed. Back in the day, Alone would solo carry games. He was only good on heroes like Morphling or TA, but Invoker was the first space-grading hero he had to learn when he was in competitive. His Squad's Wex Invoker particularly, and it's probably his best space-grading hero. I mean, now with Void Spirit and Ember and stuff, like he's expanded his pool, but Invoker is still the old classic for Alone, that he's going to 1v5 the team. And also create space in the early.
And Lumiere loves his Faceless Void here too, but I assume that'll be banned because they have Snapfire and Invoker, right? Surely NoPing will ban Faceless Void.
Yeah, they banned it last time, so I would be surprised if they didn't, right? He's also good against Mars in general, so I think you kind of ban the Void. Otherwise,
sorry, does his name mean light, Lumiere?
I would think so.
Good job, yeah.
Does it mean light?
It is. Yeah.
It's just
I mean, not light. It's like a...
It's like a lamp, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like a chandelabra, I think it's supposed to reference.
Yeah.
Look at you, Winter. Impressive.
Good to know.
Huh.
Yeah, because it's like just feels like just illuminating. I don't know. Maybe I saw it somewhere like this word.
It is. You're right. It is French. He illuminates his whole team by farming the fastest.
Very nice name.
10 seconds remaining.
How do you know that he was like really toxic? A lot of the players, I mean, alone, like a lot of the players were complaining, or
I
it was
follow
just
his Facebook page. It was not like private toxicity.
Yeah, but what do you expect a 16-year-old from a 16-year-old?
No. I mean, it was really funny, but like, it's hard to describe. Like, Spanish is such an easy language to write, like because you just write how it sounds. That when someone makes spelling mistakes, you're like, what? Who taught you the language? And he would do this thing with a lot of people do that I don't know why. It's like a fad among teenagers where you put capitals, like capital letters, in the middle of your words, and he used to do that very often. Like, you've seen the thing, haha, right? The emote to make fun of someone. Imagine that, but for every single word. That was alone. He would write rants on his Facebook page about his teammates.
Dude,
make
that's
him
just someone who
public, and
grew
he'd
up
get kicked.
playing on USE servers. I
What?
think he was hanging out with
Yeah.
some of those guys a bit too much, you know?
It was bad. But
You-
a lot
you
of
write
us had really good
rants
things about it. Yeah,
about
rants,
your teammates on
Yeah, yeah.
Facebook, and you add
And
your teammates on...
his team managers, yeah.
What?
Hell
Who does
yeah.
that? Oh,
It's funny because then he would get signed up with the same team, and then he felt bad about it, so he would rant like an opposite rant, saying how he was wrong, and then he would get kicked, and then write a rant about how he was right the whole time. It's really funny. You should really check out his Facebook page. Maybe it's private now, but it was really good back then. However, everyone that has played with him since has spoken about him as being a hardworking, hungry new player who's looking to change, and he's much more disciplined now. So,
10 seconds remaining.
Why'd they leave in
Good things
Faceless
about
Void?
I don't know, Trent. That's a good question. It's a very good
That's
question.
a game winner. That's a game-winning hero. I mean, I guess they'll have 2 picks after.
Interesting choice.
I'm already
so
liking
you
it.
would-
I still like it.
You would
Is
go
that the only
Void.
core Mirana then? And then we pick a line 5?
Yeah. I guess
Probably.
the only
Right?
good thing about this Miranda is they can't go Faceless Void Phoenix now.
10 seconds remaining. Pick.
The lane's much stronger with Mirana Mars.
Bane. Could be Luna here as well. Oh,
Aha!
you've been suggesting this hero for a while, Beast. Winter.
Leave the carry to us. But at this stage, you just want to pick the hero that won't. Okay, I think it makes sense because the enemy team is banning the offlaner. So if they probably feel like
10 seconds remaining.
there's less options for the offlane hero, so we have to pick because they're picking 2 heroes anyway. They don't have overall last pick, and usually at this junction, you pick the hero that has no replacement or less replacements.
Well, Theodore also quite the Mirana player, so could be for him.
Yeah.
Could also be potentially for Analog, maybe. Maybe he's feeling real flashy. Maybe get a core Mirana.
Mid Mirana.
Yeah, you know.
Interesting. Another jump.
Only I think only Moon does that.
Yeah.
Mid Mirana.
I've not seen anyone else do that.
You think it
But
would
it could-
show
I
up
mean-
a couple times at least with all these Bane picks, but yeah, it's out there, unfortunately.
10 seconds remaining.
I did see
I'm
that
assuming
recent
the-
game actually by Moon. Forget if he won though.
5 seconds
He did win.
remaining.
It's actually impressive.
Nice,
Cap
let's
made
go.
fun of him the whole time, and then he won, and then Cap was quiet on the panel.
Boy, let's go. I remember watching the replay, but I couldn't remember if he actually pulled it through because every time I watch Sumail, I'm like, Sumail, this would be like a really good mid Mirana game, and I'm thinking maybe it'll come back.
To be fair though, he did have I think 12,000 damage at the end game, which was less than
That's not
one of his supports. Yeah, it was not great, but it was good in the game.
What is
Like,
it?
just for different reasons.
January 6th.
What was
I
the
think
build?
she's getting that
What was
anime
the build?
season 2 buff, so it's fine.
It's
What's
true. It's
the
true.
build?
What was the build that Moon went
Yeah.
that game?
Yeah.
I actually don't remember. I
Oh.
think he went Dezo. I think he went like an early Dezo.
I think he did. Yeah, he went right click.
Yeah, he went.
He didn't
right
go
click.
like E-Blade Ags or whatever.
Was maybe Maelstrom Dezo something like that? Could that be?
It was a funky build. I feel like there was a crit too because of the
Yeah.
shard. I remember he was abusing the shard. That was important.
Yeah. And then there was, and yeah, I think he went BKB early as well, right? That was obviously.
Yeah, I think it was like
Was the
Deso.
offlaner a Slada that game? I think maybe I saw that game. Yeah,
Maybe.
Slada.
Might have been.
Yeah, that's why he went
SMG
for
drafts
this
were
build.
your heroes. It could have been, yeah. To be fair though, Afu kind of carried that game because his Earthshaker that game. I remember that, and he was like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he played
heavily.
at both games that series. Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. He was Earthshaker. It was incredible.
Do we have to talk about this game now? I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, as everyone expected, and I'm sure Infamous knew this, there was 0% chance they were going to face this Void
Yeah.
at the end of this with the setup of their draft. And that's fine. I'm sure they've got some other options. In fact, they picked pretty quick. They had a ton of time left, but they're going to put the pressure
Nice.
back on NoPing.
Nice.
That's good.
Medusa, their lineup is pretty well balanced. They have catch, they have team
What-
fight, they have late game, they have buff.
Winter, what's your stand on Jara to Dusa quarter core matchup?
It's better for the Dusa,
5
for sure.
seconds remaining.
I
Now,
think
what's your-
early game you would put the argument that the gyro has the edge in the early game, but I wouldn't underestimate the Dusa. Sometimes when you push the mid tier 1 towers and the enemy Dusa shows up, then the push stops. It's pretty hard also
Yep.
to push sometimes. So as long as the Dusa reacts and tries to help her team, otherwise the gyro will just run everywhere and just take the towers. They just need to hold the towers as long as they can. Because late game the Dusa is gonna outcarry the gyro.
Should
like
this get flexed? Should we ditch the gyro carry and go something else? Something
Oh.
maybe
Anti-mage?
anti-magical versus Invoker. Single target
Mirana
disables
mid,
of
right?
Bane and Beastmaster. Gyro 5 or Mirana with the Mirana mid or Gyro mid. Lion 5, Mirana 4.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay,
boom.
Void Spirit.
Get the other purple
Something's
guy.
getting flexed. Who's getting relegated? It's gonna be the Mars. No, sorry.
Nah, it's just
Mars?
Nobody's getting
What?
relegated.
Just
Never. I'm
what?
an idiot. I'm an
Oh,
idiot. I'm such a moron.
You're getting relegated next game.
I'm getting relegated. I'm in Div 2 now. I'm so sorry. My mind went places there.
Huh.
Final
So-
picks of the draft. Thoughts?
It's easier for Infamous, I think. Overall, they have a balanced lineup. The last pick from the last pick, Void Spirit didn't feel like, oh, this last pick is gonna do wonders. It's the last pick where they didn't have any good options. You don't know what to do. Oh, Ember Spirit, Void Spirit.
I'm trying to think when they look stronger. And I feel like this is all on Mars. I feel like this is one of those games where I really need the Mars to hit all the first arenas, right? And that's kind of hard this game because you would think that they're gonna have a really good idea of what's happening because they have a Beastmaster and they're gonna be playing that style where they're like keeping themselves in between the opponent and their Medusa, so the Medusa's just like farming constantly around the map. I don't know if Void Spirit was the answer.
All right. Our panel is doubtful of the NoPing draft. Does this mean Infamous is better? We'll have to see because we have a game 3 about to begin right on your screens. And to cast this wonderful game, it's Gareth and Lacoste for the last time today.
Thank you. Yes, we are going to see game 3 here as we get ourselves underway. And Lacoste, I agree with the panel. I think that last pick is a bit meh, doesn't look amazing. Whereas Medusa, she wins games. Do you share that thought?
Pretty much, yeah. Also, I've not been impressed by Analog's Void Spirit. Maybe he asked for it. Wasn't he? Maybe he was also, yeah, I want to play it again. I want to show I can do better. I'll stomp them. Not going to be an easy one. They have decent amount of lockdowns with Bane. Anything from Invoker is also okay-ish. Beastmaster. I feel some of these heroes like Beastmaster, OD, who goes for Meteor Hammer every single time, Beastmaster going for a Helm, I just don't find that fun to play. I don't find that fun to watch.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those posts on Reddit, right? Where, is Meteor Hammer a balanced item? Is Helm of the Dominator a balanced item? Only 2 heroes are picking these items up. Nobody else wants to get them. I think you're right. It is a bit one-dimensional in terms of this is an item for this hero, and you pretty much have to buy it.
I
Sacred already
just
has it
don't
queued
see
up,
the
of course.
hero. Sorry, I don't see the item that Beastmaster can go for and get the most out of it. But I'm really happy that we don't have Aghanim's Beastmaster.
The flinging of the axes, yeah. Or was it whole of season 1 was just
Season
Beastmaster
1.
mid wins the game.
Pretty much. The best part was teams thinking that they could beat it.
Or by picking dispel heroes, we'll pick a Baden and dispel the axe buff.
We'll take
Yeah, that didn't work.
Rubik and try to steal. Well, it still doesn't work because he has it all the time. You need to steal it, and also you need to be alive. Beastmaster doesn't care. Oh, yeah, I think Medusa in this game should be the one true carry. What they got, there is Mars, so let's check if he decides to get the you know, maybe a Silver Edge and try to break him, because it's very annoying. Bulwark really is one of the most annoying spells to play when you're playing Medusa, besides Mana Burn.
Yeah, that's very true. Like Arena plus Bulwark, just remove all of your damage. There will be Medusa Bane against a Mars Mirana. Some kill threat offered there between Monster and Theo Lacoste with a spear and an arrow as potential. But Axel is going to have Nightmare saves. The ability to trade out with the Mirana. Mirana's currently just arrowing range creeps over and over again. So that should push the wave into Radiant, and then of course mirror back and bounce towards Dire Tier 1 a little bit. As that mid lane currently, a very close fought battle between Analog and Alone. 6-1 against 3-0, but they're both trading regen very heavily, like tornadoes, cold snaps. That Resonant Pulse all being spammed out incessantly. Top, a bit of aggression onto Michael. He's already spent Little Shredder, throws the Scatter Blast onto KJ. Audio and KJ can't get the kill, but they've zoned Michael out a little bit.
It's also one of the games where Gyrocopter doesn't have IO, doesn't have Bloodlust. There is no way to buff him up. These two supports like Mirana might get something like a Solar Crest later on, but it's still not something that amplifies Gyrocopter's farm potential. So he will need to take care of himself, and they also need to get some stacks going.
Yeah, so that's a good question about itemization on position for Mirana in general, right? Do we want to see an Urn or a Yule Scepter, Arcane's mech? Do you want that Spirit Vessel?
Yeah, Spirit Vessel just
what is
feels too good to pass on.
Okay. We'll see where Theo heads with that. I guess a similar story for this Invoker who's gone Quaswex. Yeah, he's got Urn queued up. We might see that Urn into Hand of Midas or so. Michael up top again. Yeah, just a little shredder down the homing missile. They're trying to chain stun him. This gives so much room to Sacred. 14 last hits. Has his helm already, so plenty of sustain just to stick around in the lane. They're also making sure that the small camp is blocked and cleared.
And
No pulls available for KJ.
Yeah, sorry, Gary. When we were talking about how to buff up Gyro, I couldn't find anything. And on the other side, you have Medusa with Beastmaster Aura. You have Alacrity from Invoker. Snapfire will get eventually Solar Crest. So that's more than enough.
Yeah, and you said she's going to be the one true carry. Absolutely, with all that backup. Theo with an interesting deep ward. Scouting for couriers. One is coming out. We'll see if the Mirana can snipe it. Monster is having a few struggles laning 1v2 whenever the Mirana leaves. He's being brain sapped and zoned away from the lane. Good free farm lane there for the Dusa.
You got the courier. That's something. Bane should try to figure out where the ward is, but it's very deep. Usually it's on the high ground. So this might not get spotted. Arrow, great arrow. Whew.
Perfect.
That's,
right onto Alone.
Sorry, 3.2 second arrow. This is exactly
First
what
blood for
Voidspirit
Analog.
needed. He gets shared tango, picks up the rune, and yeah, like he's back. He's back. This is exactly a rotation that he needed. I want to go back to a bottom lane a bit, because you see this Bane holding 2 tangos and 2 healing cells. You don't even want to try to harass Medusa. It's mental damage that you're getting from seeing this on Bane.
Yeah, just focus on hitting creeps, I guess. Just shove wave, clear creeps. That's what Monster's doing with his God's Rebuke. Try what he can, and watching Theo here. Coming all the way behind this top lane, through the Radiant Triangle, into the chain stun. Well set up by KJ. Allows the Lion to get that kill in top. So 2 rotations by Mirana so far. Yes, you're sacrificing the Mars a little bit, but you're getting so much more out of these additional lanes. Starting to wonder, with Void Spirit and Invoker, are we going to see these early rotations and TPing into lanes, or are we going to see people move into the mid lane to try and fight there?
I see Snapfire TPing mid, trying to set up some vision. Theolicore already on the mid lane, trying to find an angle to kill the catapult. Invoker, he'll block it, so you need to be careful about it. And once Invoker leaves, you can just one-shot it. That's the power of Mirana. And Pudge, don't forget about Pudge.
Don't forget Pudge, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Can Doom still... Doom can still devour Catapult, can't he?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess he's the third one, but we no longer have the Eidolons or the Enchant or any of that good stuff stealing the catapults. Ooh, Alone into the Ghost Walk quickly. Sentry drop though, as Analog gives chase with a nice Earth Spike. KJ sets back up on the Invoker, but Michael's here with a little Shredder, Scatter Blast chipping away at the Lion, while Invoker Fairy fires, but he's dead. Caught in an awkward position, trading out in a 2-for-1 it looks like. They should have Michael. Quick little Remnant into Assimilate. Full Wand. And he's got a cookie
available. No leap charges. Bane's coming. He's okay.
Yeah, they had Astral Step coming up. He just got the mana for it there, but you're right. Bane with a Nightmare allows Michael to slip away from them. Still good, though, for NoPing.
NoPing plays 2 deep observer wards. One bottom part to kill the couriers. And one that, I don't know if this is going to get devorted. Yeah, there we go. Michael scouting things around. Courier coming. Yeah, that's going to get scouted.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Stacking the Ancients a little more as well. So Lumiere has cleared bot wave, goes into the jungle for a little bit. A little vacation from lane creeps, get some neutral items. Now we're 7 minutes into the game. But look at this smoke coming. Theo and Analog. They saw the Medusa with this Dark Observer Ward, I assume. And they'll go straight in towards Lumiere. She's level 6.
No
2-3-1 build, no Stone Gaze. A Remnant into Arrow, a lot of damage from Analog and Theo, and it looks like they should be able to bring down Lumiere here, but oh, they're out of Astral Step charges. She's got the Pig's Pole and the Magic Stick to get out.
And here comes Bane. Pops, double mango, healing salve. Where's the tango?
Yeah.
He gave him a tango
Share
as well.
tango.
Medusa back to top lane. Bottom doesn't feel too secure, so this is going to be a trade-off. Playing around the Beastmaster, who has vision with the Hawk. Has already that Ogre Vampire Mage. Ice Armor
with the big teeth.
Him. Yeah, this is just gonna be a standard trade-off. Mid lane, Bane looks pretty dead, arrow misses. But doesn't matter.
Got 3 heroes there, yeah.
Are fortified.
Axel was trying to get that illusion rune, it looks like.
Is under attack.
Well, like you said, the trade out. Lumiere straight up to top with Inner Beast level 2. They'll make short work of the tower. Nothing really to stop them.
Dire's top tower has
We need Alone to become a little more active.
Yes.
This Void Spirit has made rotations. He's 2-0-1. He's level 7.5 almost, while Invoker hasn't really had any impact.
He's been playing alone. Yeah, he needs to, like, people need to rotate to his lane, or he needs to be active on the sidelines. Problem is, it's a bit too late right now, because you want to get that earn charge as fast as possible. He relies on it. He needs it to get a second kill. And he got ganked for the first blood, which made his lane much tougher. Analog has Phase Boots queued up on Void Spirit. Not a big fan of that. I still feel going for either Yule Scepter to set things up. Kaya Sanj, always great. Or Aghanim Scepter to be able to control the backlines, which I think is the best one you can get when you play against Bane and Snapfire. But we'll see what he decides to do. If he feels he needs a bit more damage, it amplifies a bit of his farm, and have a bit of extra armor against Medusa and Beastmaster. In the end, decides to go for it.
Oh, nice. That beautiful Tumbler's Tour into the arena, sets up on the Invoker. Nightmare buys some time. The Deafening Blast is good, but that homing missile was better. Third death for that Alone Invoker as they just bring the swarms of heroes of NoPing into the mid lane yet again. And Ardio's Gyro is cleared through a large camp stack, still has Ancients to fall back on, while Lumiere attempting to take out his own triangle, but harassed by Theo, takes a pretty big snake and a roar from Sacred. Axel's here, still level 5 though, would love to have a Fiend's Grip to get a bonus kill, but the spear back holds him away. Medusa gives chase onto KJ and they will get the +1.
That's a very aggressive move, trying to invade enemy triangle against Medusa and Beastmaster, so you could be spotted by a Hawk, a Boar, and now they have a Catapult on a mid lane. There's no Mirana to one-shot it. Let's see if she decides to TP. Yeah, just gonna go for the safe one. Tier 2. There's a lot of units that they can block the arrow with.
Structures are fortified.
Yeah, they got Boars in front. Gyro gets in on towards them with the Void Spirit as well, and Snapfire dissimulated upon. The Cold Snap was trying to get the Mars down low, but Infamous playing another game here with -1 hero pretty much. Lumiere is farming. He's not really looking to get involved right now, so it's down to the rest of them to hold the fort, defend their objectives with one man down.
It's important
That's
that
what
they
Winter
keep
was saying, right?
Tier 1 tower mid alive. I don't think they care too much about the rest. If they get a trade-off, they manage to get a couple of kills. They manage to also get a bit of a tower damage on a mid lane. Invoker, as you mentioned, going for Hand of Midas as his next item, needs to be able to scale right now, really struggling. He has less farm than Beastmaster at this point.
He sure does. But yeah, we see what Winter was saying about the carry-to-carry matchup. Like, early game, you kind of give it to Gyro, lots of magic damage, 3 points in the Rocket Barrage, and he's starting to not only farm Ancients, but also run at you and cause team fights to happen around him. While Medusa, not even a point in Stone Gaze yet. Fully focused on hitting creeps. Theo and Analog.
Dire's
They see a Hawk.
is under attack.
It looked like they were trying to angle in towards mid again. They're playing very calmly. While Sacred plants himself in that top lane, pushes out like the Beastmaster loves to do, has his Helm of the Dominator, and working quickly towards the Overlord.
They will have trouble killing that big creep, the ancient creep. They don't have enough damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Which is the
attack.
best ancient creep here, do you think, to like pair with a Medusa? Is it the Golem or
Golem is
Thunderhide?
always nice, giving us some extra HP to everyone.
Yeah.
Dragon is a bit more annoying to deal with. He is like choosing where you want to fight with the fireball.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Smoke.
attack.
From NoPing.
straight into Alone, who's holding the high ground? He sees them coming. Oh, but he's jumped by that Void Spirit and blown up by the finger. Michael trades out for KJ, but they lose both of them immediately, and this Bane trapped.
Middle tower is under attack.
What a swift move in from NoPing. It looks like they'll lose their tier 1 tower mid,
Dire's middle
but they do get 3 big kills and probably can just shove straight back across the river.
under attack.
This is tower for NoPing.
Radiant's middle tower
Gyrocopter with the freshly bought Aghanim Scepter. That's gonna be one item that increases his farm.
is under attack.
Medusa, right now ahead, 200 gold. This time around, Medusa not messing around with her item build, going for the standard stuff. Dragonlance, Yasha into Manta style to be able to dispel things and deal a bit more damage. It also increases your farm. Good stats overall. It's all about the stats, and then going for Scotty. So pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, it's funny, right? She's like 200-300 gold ahead, but it feels like she's 5 minutes behind. Still needs more time to be as effective as the Gyro is. A good setup here with the sleep. Axel doesn't have grip though, so it's down to this EMP, the Cold Snap, and look at Analog with all his damage. Holds the Bane back, allows the leaps away. Theo disengages, as will Infamous with a cookie. And run back all the way westwards.
Invoker
Nice
finally
D-ward.
finishing his Hand of Midas. That's going to increase the farm, give him a bit of extra XP that he desperately needs. Level 9 compared to Mars, who's about to hit level 10. Mirana's level 8.5.
It feels much more decisive, this game, in terms of how both teams are playing. There's no wishy-washy, we'll have a hero here and a hero there and we'll do our own thing. This has been, we will fight as a team. It's just chain smoking, basically. NoPing, just smoke after smoke, finding pick-off after pick-off. Infamous defending objectives, holding out and waiting for the waves to come crashing in onto them. RDO still wants to get onto this tier 1 mid. He shows on the wave, the rest of his team under the effects of smoke.
Radiant are scanning.
Obs and Sentry placed very quickly. Medusa alone bottom, but not really a hero they want to go for under a tier 2. Just clearing the zone making sure there's nobody nearby this tower. And again, Gyro just shoves, gets himself forward.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Does Sacred want to set up with a roar? Because Bane's TPing in.
Arrow.
Arrow flies all the way across and clips him. And they've got Monster here with an arena for the Bane as well.
My nightmares evacuate bigger than you.
Just a
Well,
Bane.
they got the tower, they got a kill.
Just a position 5. Lumiere's map read was really good so far. He manages to dodge a couple of ganks. His rotations in terms of like where he needs to farm and feel safe were pretty much on point. Level 13 right now. Gyro level 12.5. Manta style about to be... Okay, maybe he just decides to go for Scotty because he's keeping the gold.
You two, follow me.
Or Dragonlance, Yasha, Skadi, skip the Manta for now, yeah. Could be a decent option. And we're getting to that point. It feels like Infamous. Yeah, it's 4-10, but it's only a 2k lead for NoPing. They are getting past the worst part of the storm right now, where you kind of expect this Mars Arena with cooldowns and Void Spirit's ability to jump into the backlines to be finding bigger team fights and more core kills. Alone.
Talking about core kills.
He dropped his items and gets arrowed. There's a core kill for you. That's the pickoff they've been looking for.
The only core killer, pretty much.
He's been everywhere, hasn't he? It's been superb from the Mirana. 118. 9 out of the 11 kills Mirana's been involved in.
Invoker really struggling. I don't know how they
Is under attack.
like get him back into the game. Right now they're sitting underneath the ward. So good fight for NoPing if they can find another
Is
opening.
under attack.
Another arrow, maybe. Whew. Scratches straight past the butt cheeks of Mortimer. It's also after the story Avo told about Alone being the guy that was like stomping mid. You know, he learned how to play Invoker as his first playmaking hero when he was playing competitively on a team. So far, his performance hasn't really been up to scratch, but a good roar, Sunstrike and kisses, and was that a grip as well?
A bit of an overkill there. Like Invoker,
Kitchen sink
Sunstrike
comes
on
to
top
mind.
of it. Misses Tornado. Who got the last hit?
It was Sacred. So 455 gold to him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
69 gold to everyone else. Nice.
Very nice. Invoker can't catch a break. Lanes are not in a good spot. There's a lot of farm that came into the mid lane. Bottom lane's also being shoved in. Medusa, yeah, she's just saving for that Scotty for now.
Yeah, fair enough. That's the 2 orbs. 500 saved up. And a triangle open to her. And what's Gyro up to? Aghanim's Yasha. So he's going SNY into Daedalus. No BKB, no Morbid Mask.
Playing into
Doesn't really
Bane,
have-
Stone Gaze, Roar. Doesn't
Roar,
feel like
yeah.
he's gonna get much value out of BKB. I respect that decision. I think it's a correct choice here.
Yeah, it makes sense when you put it that way. SNY with a status resistance going to help him out tremendously.
Even Medusa should skip out the Manta style, to be fair, in this one, and get SNY. You're playing against Lion, Marston, Remnant. There's so many spells that you do not want to be like fully... Especially Lion. Like Lion, this is a position 5 Lion that went for mana boots, which means he doesn't need mana drain. So that Hex is online. That's a level 4 Hex, 12-second cooldown, 4-second duration. So gotta be very careful about this one.
Absolutely do. They are just carving themselves this massive portion of the map for Medusa to clear through. 300 gold ahead of the Gyro. It did go up to like 800 gap a minute or so ago. So Gyro is closing in on that with towers and kills being picked up here and there. And again, we see NoPing just an infinite amount of smokes in their shop somehow, continually going across the map, hidden under this smoke.
It's a good
Into the
wraparound.
Radiant Triangle.
If they find Bane and Beastmaster, I think Beastmaster is a big one, because Roar threatens a kill on one of the cores. They know. No, Infamous, they are aware.
Absolutely no. Hellbears and the boars cleared out by Analog. This is a good position for Infamous to actually just push into the tier 2 top lane. They've got the bodyguards already clearing jungle. A couple of wards placed down as well to give them that vision and safety. Lumiere's pinging it out, saying, hey, I'm going to go stand here. Give me alacrity. Let me hit the tower. Little Shredder. Long-range Medusa with a Dragon Lance. And nothing to stop it.
She's connected
Theo's
with the
trying.
team.
Yeah, angling for that arrow onto Beastmaster, and the Finger of Death finishes him off. Sacred gone, the Fiend's Grip on Monster. Mars, inside his own arena. Lumiere, the winner of the gladiatorial battle, as Analog needs to Astral Step away, but he doesn't have it. It's on cooldown. Dissimilate is going to be his option instead. KJ's also nightmared up, and Lumiere, if he can just get one touch, Ascardi slow, that's all he needs. One hit to slow him down. KJ, cookied upon, but it's not quite on the mark. The Leaping Frog misses the branch,
It's
but
time to roast. Beastmaster bought back.
they needed.
Yeah, with the inner beast, they have enough damage. They know that there's no arena, no Mars, no cooldown. Time to use this info and turn it into something big.
Get that Aegis on Medusa. And now the landslide begins. The avalanche starts with a smallest of snowflakes.
Arrow.
Builds up and builds up. It's an arrow, but do you really want to go in here? Lion alive in 4 seconds. Nightmare slows down the gyros, move forward. Analog, Astral Step, double step into the pit. This Roshan killed off by Dire, snatched by Medusa though, as Michael, being sliced by Monster, has no spear, no God's Rebuke for another 5 seconds, and Gyrocopter, you're right, slowed and cold snapped. In comes Axel, Nightmare's the gyro, Sunstrike comes on in. KJ trying, and they do bring down the Bane, but this Lumiere Medusa, an absolute beast, chases them down, and NoPing have no choice but to retreat.
Even in the previous fight, Bane kind of misused his ulti, went for Mars, who already used everything inside of the arena, was stone gazed. They need to lock down Void Spirit, so he does not need to rush anything. And this time around, Void Spirit gets the last hit on Roche. Analog is like, he's madman, dude. He goes in, uses every single spell. They don't manage to land a cookie, but if they can lock him down, he's straight up dead there. There is no save.
Oh, there's nothing to bail him out.
Oh,
Invoker,
not
nothing to bail him out either. Ooh,
Dust.
Dusty Dust. There it is. Core player holding Dust.
What is this? What year is this, Gary?
I don't know. I was surprised myself. And Mirana has 2 of them as well. But in the end, Invoker survives thanks to Bane, who moves on in. But now Bane is kind of trapped in that top left corner of the map. And if they spot out this Beastmaster, this Snapfire, maybe NoPing could make a move. Just seeing people just pinging Medusa right now. Beastmaster's pinging Medusa, NoPing are pinging Medusa. How do you stop the Gorgon with 3 minutes left on Aegis? Level 17, about to hit level 18. And a Manta Scardi.
I see Silver
Solar
Edge.
Crest.
Silver Edge is great against Mars, something we've seen in the first game. Break doesn't disable the projectile redirect, but it does disable the damage reduction,
Okay.
to be more clear.
Still pretty handy.
Yeah, it's still good.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And now my favorite part about Medusa drafts, the 25-minute mark where she goes and plants herself in front of objectives. Sit in front of a tower, hit it until it dies. Couple of balls to help out, and there's Sacred, who is smoked and giving Inner Beast aura. Solar Crest on Medusa.
Pro
All
gamer
stacked
move
up and full
by
of steroids.
Medusa. That was
A
nicely
move.
done.
So pro. Oh, Alone is he going to get his first kill of the game? He's hexed, but he's killed KJ, burnt for that cold snap meatball. 1, 5, and 3 for Alone, and he's got his Aghanim Scepter. He's got Midas off cooldown.
This
Focus
is what
back
he
in the
needed.
game.
Like a solo pick-off, got almost 500 gold from it, some experience. Aghanim Scepter finally done. So once they use a grip, if they use like a sleep is also a decent setup for Cataclysm, Primal Roar.
Radiant's top tower.
They have a lot of ways to set things up.
I mean, that's 3 heroes dead, basically, right? You Nightmare 1, Grip another, Roar
Hold
another.
down, Gary.
3 heroes stuck inside Cataclysm.
It's not that easy to execute.
It definitely isn't. But a boy can dream.
Bottom tower has
My favorite question now, is it high ground time?
It is. They still have a minute and a half left in this Aegis. KJ needs to be careful.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, throws an earth spike and gets the hell out.
Lanes are in a
Lift.
good position. Mid lane pushed in, top lane of course. You can't have 3 lanes pushed in. You're doing something wrong. If that happens, enemy team's doing something wrong. Look at this Medusa. Solar Crest, Alacrity.
My goodness. Yeah. And a little shredder to give that minus armor as well. Backdoor regen has kicked in, but new creep wave with a catapult has arrived. A new Alacrity
Dire's bottom
and a new Medusa. Still 50 seconds on Aegis. Now NoPing. They've got that timer down. Potentially you could look at this Medusa with, what, a third of her mana pool as a potential target. But it's so disciplined from Infamous, the way they're sitting behind her.
38 seconds. They need to time this correctly. Like, they need to start a fight
Dire's bottom barracks.
and go for the rest. 30 seconds. Invoker,
Oh, it's a
TPing
rough
mid.
one.
Like, this is risky. This type of play is very risky. Medusa's already gone, but they might need to take some loss. They might lose 2 heroes.
Yeah. Oh, they'll get the Snapfire. The one casualty that was left behind. They saw the gyro rotating around the 2 mid lane wards there from the Radiant. Kinda saw the smoke coming, even if the other 4 heroes were hidden. They saw the gyro moving and they guessed where they were coming from.
It's a very bad move when you do something like that. Imagine they have a lane ward that is scouting tier 2 towers, so they can react like 2-3 seconds faster than that, and then could result in maybe 2-3, sometimes even 4 kills. Depends, because if you're core,
Yeah.
if Medusa TP's out, they lack damage. They're not taking that fight.
Oh, Elven Tunic on Dusa now. Good luck, NoPing. Didn't go for the Silver Edge. Got the Crystallis, working on BKB next. So worried about the magic damage and the control from NoPing. I guess the fact she didn't go for S&Y means, like you were saying, right? KJ's Hex is a vital tool that NoPing has to control her.
Yeah, there aren't many things that he can dispel anyway, so, I mean, there's no Spirit Vessel. Morana decided to go for full Solar Crest, so would still prefer if that's SNY in this case. Both carries in this game, 0 deaths combined.
Oh. Yeah, 105, 106. Very close between the two of them, but net worth-wise, 3,000 is the gap between Medusa and Gyro, thanks to that Aegis and, of course, the bot laner Barracks going down. As NoPing, would you believe it? Our 5-man
Another
smoked
smoke.
once again. Where do they get them from?
Radiant are scared.
Discount
Just
shop.
pop down to the... Yeah, pop down to the corner shop.
What if we had a discount shop that sells items that malfunction from time to time? Like there's, I don't know, like 15% chance that if you click it, it doesn't work. Or
Yeah.
like you get a Solar Crest, but it doesn't give 6 armor and 5 attributes. It gives 3 armor and 3 attributes.
You buy a stout shield,
But
but,
only if you
after
pay
enemy hits you
online.
5 times,
Yeah.
it... Wait, what did you say? Only
Or
pay
only
online?
if you buy online. Yeah. You can't just like go
Well,
in.
so
So you
you
have to
don't buy it with in-game gold. You,
Yeah, you
you
need to
microtransaction
pre-order.
$5.
Attack.
The Broken Item DLC, brought to you by Lacoste. Please, never.
I mean, we had dumber shit in the game, Gary.
I mean, there are other games that do that kind of thing, right? Not necessarily with microtransactions, but there are items which, you know, destroy after a certain amount of uses, or you pick up you know, let's say we have quality of our
had
items,
that.
right? There's like a legend, there's like a
had-
legendary BKB or a.
We had the Aghanim Scepter that disappeared after a certain time. We have drums that you lose charges.
That's true. No, that's very true. Well, I guess BKB is like prime example, right? You lose your timer on that BKB.
Take us.
And time is money.
Oh, Moonlight Shadow.
Time is everything, Gary.
Scouted. It is. Yeah, we don't have enough time on this planet. But this is very telegraphed from NoPing. I believe Infamous knows this is coming. Moonlight Shadow is scouted by the creep wave mid. They've then run past another creep wave. Fortunately, Roshan isn't alive for another 2.5 minutes, though, so there's no real rush from NoPing here, even if they feel like they need to go and do something. The vision has been perfect from Infamous. Axel's done a great job keeping tabs on the Dire team, who have to come back and defend their bottom lane because it's about to reach tier 4s. Lumiere gets away from the arrow. And the dance around the pit begins. RDO, KJ, the jump, the roar,
Oh,
the cataclysm
poor Lion.
comes. He's inside the arena, but RDO's dead with no buyback, and Lion slowed down by the Skadi slow, nearly dropping himself, but they'll turn onto Analog's Void Spirit instead. Massive kills for Infamous, and now the move towards high ground yet again.
Lion
Just
got pushed.
wander up towards tier 3s.
Lion got pushed by Roar to the side into Cataclysm.
Oh,
Slowly.
no.
He's like, well, I can't do anything about this one. My Blank Dagger got cancelled. I don't think they have enough damage. This is the first stat with Gyro. He has no buyback, needs 100 gold. There are no bounty runes on the map that can be picked up. So they can go in and get mega creeps. 30 seconds. Yeah, they have more than enough.
Yeah, yet again, Medusa wins games. Lumiere just moves straight past the range barracks, goes for the tier 3. Knows that the range barracks can be cleared up quite easily later on, even if it's just a random creep wave arriving. And they're all still sitting in behind this Medusa, who dodges the spear. Buildings toppling. One remains
Going
in that
for
mid
megas.
spot. There's the mega creeps. That's KJ. Oh god. Careful, buddy. Skadi slow is a dangerous thing. And with 20 seconds until Roshan, I mean, NoPing have like one choice. Do they have it? Wait, do they have a smoke? Do
I
they
knew
have
you were
another
gonna ask
smoke?
that. I don't think they have a Lion. No smokes left.
No. So sad.
But
They
they
got Moonlight
have
Shadow,
Moonlight
that's a
Shadow.
pseudo smoke. Oh my god, the Lion! That's a good BKB from Lumiere. Cataclysm's gonna come out, and they've called up the Gyro. Skadi slowed, and RDO, he's about to go to the grave, dead for 70 again, and GG's called. KJ, Analog, who's left? Give me some more kills. Lumiere, he's on a spree. 307.
Great performance by Lumiere. I think second and third game were clear outdrafts, and it was very hard for them to play Dota for Infamous in second game and for NoPing in the third one. Even though they were like making the right moves, you still didn't kill Medusa a single time. Bane was getting picked off. You ruined Invoker completely. But as I said at the start of this game, like Medusa's one true carry, especially with all the buffs that they had, Beastmaster Aura, Solar Crest on top of that, Alacrity, you have a save, a cookie if she's in trouble. It's just how Dota works, unfortunately, for NoPing.
Yeah, and I feel like usually we see Medusa, if you look on the scoreboard, the damage dealt and damage received, usually we see Medusa do quite a lot of damage and receive quite a lot of damage. And in this game, Alone actually did the most damage, and Medusa really didn't tank that much because no one was touching her. It was a pretty simple, straightforward affair. Just move towards objectives. You've got the Slug Lady to go on to tier 1s, tier 2s, systematic, and topple all of the dominoes. And with that, the series is over. 2-1 victory for Infamous over NoPing. We'll have a quick break, but I believe the panel will be returning with an interview right after this.
All right, we're here with a post-game panel here, getting ready for the interview. But before that, of course, we want to pick our analyst's brain and figure out what they thought was wrong with that game. Except for the Invoker. You guys can say no things about the Invoker. Tell me, Winter, you thought that was an auto game to a degree. Why did you think that? Was there just a moment that just Gyro just can't deal with Dusa? Is that simple?
They don't have a sharp enough timing because they are supposed to attack and control the map. But with the way they set up the draft, because I felt like it doesn't really make sense, right? They opened the draft with it was first pick Snapfire, then they picked Lion plus Mars, which doesn't make sense to me because they picked Mirana later. If they wanted Mirana, they could have just stuck to the Mirana plus Mars opening and then see how the picks went, because the Lion didn't really fit like their overall strategy. Like he doesn't really allow them to play fast enough. I would have preferred like something like a Spirit Breaker 5 or like an Undying, so they can rush and go into the triangle, because that's what they need to do. They need to rush in. And Undying works well with Gyro carry, Tombstone, and Flat Cannon. I felt like they just lacked something. They just lacked that something. So they couldn't play fast enough, and Dusa just do her thing, hit creeps, blah 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 blah. Even though his teammates they were trying to throw, but they couldn't. It was Dusa.
It was too powerful. I think, like I kind of agree with like the line and the Ron in terms of just they're very similar. Like they're not really two supports I'd want on my same team because it feels like they sort of fulfill the
They
same
both
role.
want money, Tren. They both want money.
They do. They both want money and they both want the flash, of that sweet kill. You need the Dumbo. I need that Spirit Breaker, that Earth Spirit. I want someone who just goes in and helps set up for my flashy guy. I think they tried pretty damn hard at the start of this game. I really thought NoPing were going to do it, actually, just because of how good of a start they got off for the Gyrocopter. Like, he had the Agnums relatively early. He got the Possessed Mask, so he, like, no life steal, went right Ags, started farming like crazy. They started getting aggressive. At one point, they had a 10k XP lead, but the draft was just too strong from Infamous. And Alone definitely turned it on later once he picked up that Agnum.
Right, and it's great that you said that, Trent, almost as if it was planned, because we have an interview with Alone himself to talk about this game on the Invoker. So we're going to swap to the interview scene now. My amazing panelists are going to say goodbye for a second. We're going to finish off with them, don't worry. I'm going to go into a solo scene with me and Alone so I can interview him whenever ready. There we go. Okay, so obviously we're going to do the interview in Spanish, guys. Hola, Alon, ¿cómo estás, tío? ¿Me escuchas?
Hola. Sí, todo bien.
Bien. Te voy a hacer las preguntas en castellano, ¿de acuerdo? Y luego traducir tus respuestas al inglés para el público, ¿vale?
Ok.
Alon, bueno, primero, felicidades por la victoria. Muy buena serie para todos ustedes. ¿Cómo es la experiencia jugando en Infamous para ti? Es como tu primer orga y top tier, estás en un equipo, mucha gente cree que sois de los mejores de DPC ahora mismo. ¿Cómo se siente ahora el ambiente ahí?
La verdad es un muy buen equipo, muy buena organización, el ambiente es muy chévere y ya estamos como que mejorando el ambiente entre nosotros, ya que no teníamos tanto tiempo. Ahora ya nos estamos acoplando un poco más, nos estamos conociendo y sí, en verdad me siento muy cómodo. Es como tú dices, ¿no? La primera organización fuerte que me jala y estoy contento con el equipo en el que estamos. Siento que vamos a dar mucho.
All right. He Alone says that he's really happy with the org he's right now. He agrees with me that this is like the first big org that picks him up, and he's saying that he felt like he needed some more time to gel with the team, but now it's starting to work out, and you can really notice the difference and the improvement. Dentro de eso te quería preguntar, ¿tú te sientes como que el equipo ha mejorado mucho estas últimas semanas? Porque la diferencia entre vuestro empeño la primera semana de PC a esta es, bueno, blanco y negro, ¿no? O sea, es como si ahora estáis funcionando. ¿Qué han hecho para llegar a eso? ¿Algo especial?
O sea, en realidad estábamos en unos problemas la primera semana de EPC y bueno, lamentablemente nos tocó jugar contra Thunder en nuestro peor momento porque estábamos como en discusiones y cosas así.
Yeah.
Pero afortunadamente ya estamos mucho mejor.
Okay. He says in the first week, actually, they had a lot of issues. They were having arguments between them, and they had to play against one of the best teams, Thunder. But now they're much better, and those arguments are fixed. So that's solved. ¿Me puedes explicar, Alon, cómo un poco tu inclusión a este equipo? ¿Cómo te contrataron para jugar en Infamous?
Después de lo de Go Boys, yo había decidido salir, ¿no? Como que quería tomarme un tiempo para estudiar y fui a mi casa y de la nada fui a mi casa y al día me escribió Cristian y me dijo que estaba interesado en mí. Y ya pues, agarré la oportunidad y vine para acá. Así fue.
y Y el estudio ahora ya otra vez a un lado, ¿no? Ahora volvemos
así
a ser
fue.
Dota full time. Genial. So Alone says that after Eco Boys, he had left. So I asked him about his inclusion into Infamous, and he said, after Eco Boys, I left. I was actually looking back to going to university, looking back to study. But then right as I was going home, I packed my things, I went home, and I got a message from Xtian, which is the manager and CEO of Infamous. And he goes, hey, I'm interested in you. Would you like to play for Infamous? And then the once again, university took a break, as he did earlier, so he can go back to Dota. And he was very excited about this opportunity. He feels very happy. Y antes de iros, Alone, la pregunta que quería hacer es, ¿cómo, ¿cómo es distinto para ti jugar una org que te apoye, te da una bootcamp, todo esto, versus, digamos, jugar una stack, como hacías al principio? ¿Notas una... ¿Es más fácil lo que está fuera del Dota para ti? ¿La vida se te hace más fácil con la org?
Más o menos, o sea, estar en una bootcamp es un poco más complicado porque como vives con 4 personas que tienen sus cosas, ¿no? Entonces es como, no sé, tienes que aceptar cómo son y entenderlos, ¿no? Conocerlos, aceptarlos como son. Sí, creo que ayuda mucho estar en una bootcamp para conocerse y soportarse y decirse las cosas a la cara, que es mucho mejor.
¿Es tu primera vez viendo con gente? O sea, viendo con compañeros de equipo.
No, es creo la tercera vez.
Ya. Entonces ya tienes costumbre de adaptarte a las costumbres de otros, ¿no?
Sí, suelo ser muy tranquilo, así que me acoplo.
De acuerdo. He says that with an org, boot camps are really useful, particularly because you get to tell each other things face to face, and you get to communicate each other face to face. And he says the only hard thing is adapting to everyone's, their style and how they like to live. But he's a very calm person. He's very adaptable. So he easily fit into the team. Bueno, con esto ya nada, agradecerte la entrevista, un placer tenerte aquí, Alon, y muchas felicidades por tu victoria. Espero poder volver a entrevistaros la semana que viene si conseguís otra victoria.
Muchas gracias, Sabo. Espero conocerte algún
Mucha
día.
suerte. Venga, adiós.
Bye.
So Alon at the end, very obviously, just said, thank you very much for the interview. It was a pleasure meeting you, which was very nice. He went and said, I would like to meet you someday, and then I cut him off like an asshole, so I'm very sorry, Alon. Lo siento, Alon. what a nice guy. Not the attitude he exudes in his pubs or in his Facebook, but it showed really nicely. Trent on Discord as well. Yes. Fair. He did. His demeanor is that of
the double mute. Oh. All right, now I'm just
yeah. Trent just told us he's a charming young lad. I think he has the demeanor of someone that's like working hard, you know. So I like it. I like a lot of South American players. It's funny.
That's amazing.
What?
You can translate the muted. That was incredible. Well done.
I know, right? I speak so many languages. A lot of South American players, interesting because like their attitude in pubs, you know them or you see them like publicly on Facebook or whatever when having ranks and their bad moments, and oh my god, and then you meet them in an interview, you're like, wow, these are actually nice people, and you start to question maybe if there's something we could do to help them not rage so much in pubs. You know, that's a story for another day. Thoughts, gentlemen? We saw Infamous styling. I'm gonna ask you first, Trent. You saw them last season. You saw lots of these players last season. Is this a team that's on the up and up? Are we going to see more and more improvements now? Or is it just a one-time wonder and they're going to decline?
I think that's something that I took away from the interview, especially was that how much discussion there just is about like team play, teamwork, and like what was and what has changed. And I don't think it's ever been a question of like individual skill for a lot of these players. I think we know like, oh, they're very capable in matchmaking. They get high numbers. A lot of them playing even like, you know, with the weights that the SA players often have with like poor server quality and network issues.
Yes.
So like going beyond that to the actual teamwork and team play, and like from that interview, I understood that he really gets that dynamic and why it's important and how they're trying to work through these issues. So that should be what helps propel them forward and upward. So yeah, I'm definitely very hopeful for Infamous going forward.
Winter.
Yeah, I agree. I think when he's mentioned, I think it was your first or second question, he said that, oh, things were not going well in the first week. We had some arguments. I think that's a sign, you know. If you don't have arguments at all, that's a big problem. You need to, everyone needs to voice their opinions. They need to, you know, say their feelings, you know, otherwise you'll be like keeping it inside his heart. And then at dinner, he'll yell at you. You don't want stuff like this happening. Like in a boot camp, it's so stressful. Living with 5 guys in a boot camp that you don't really know. Usually, when the play has problems inside the game, it usually correlates to issues outside of the game. Somebody has some bad toilet habits, or he leaves the place dirty. Yeah, it's true. The
No,
guy
you're
gets
right.
annoyed. The guy gets annoyed, and he's leaning with him, like, trying to cast his spells. Then he remembers that dish he left on the table last night.
My favorite line, I can say this because it's after hours, right? My favorite line that I ever got from Beast Coast was asking them in an ESL event, like, who's the worst person to live with? And they all said the same person, Schofield. And I go, why? And they go, oh, bathroom habits, right? And then there's a clip of them playing in a pub where they're going, Schofield, you're shitter than what you leave in the bathroom, referring to literally what apparently he does, which is not flush. So it's I thought it was really funny. I agree with you. There's a lot of that sinks into the game. To finalize though, on the NoPing side, Winter, if you're the coach for NoPing, what are you doing to get them to improve? Like, what is it that's missing from their team? Because they are a top tier team as well, but they had 2 bad weeks and they really can't afford to get any more losses.
In my opinion, mainly strategy, like the draft order. I think in the
Okay.
game they exhibited good teamwork. They understood how to cast their spells in a team fight, but they were limited by what the strategy can do, and they're limited by their timings because of that. So if it gets adjusted, the pick order and what to pick first, what are their priorities, I think they could have a lot of potential in the upcoming season.
Trent? Anything to add? No? Okay. Just
that's
Winter's.
good. I agree.
One more. Okay, since you ask, because you mentioned about Beast Coast, I can't help but wonder when I was watching the last game, the draft, the Beastmaster Medusa, and how they were not using the map properly. And I remember in my head, oh, if Beast Coast they were playing this exact same draft, this game would be so easy for them. Because they are so good at placing, oh, purple is supposed to be at bottom, orange is supposed to be at top, teal is supposed to be at top, orange. Every part of the map, there's someone doing something. Instead of just what they did in the game, which were the Invoker, he was playing so aggressive, he was trying to find fights. He was not supposed to find fights during that point of the game because the Medusa just wants to hit creeps. It's like the poodle going at the Rottweiler at that time of the game. He's like, he doesn't know he's small. He's trying to fight.
Well said.
Yeah, what an analogy. We're going to close the panel on that dog-on-dog violence. Please don't do this with your poodles. We hope you enjoyed the cast. We hope you enjoyed the games, of course. We won't be back tomorrow. Well, we will be back tomorrow on this very channel, but it's going to be with Div 2 games for SA, so please do stay tuned. Best way, of course, to follow this is just to follow the channel at just Epulze Gaming. Click that follow button. You get notified whenever we go live. So hopefully you get to enjoy some more SA Dota tomorrow. If you do not want to follow Div 2 because you're an elitist, that's fine too. We're back next week on Thursday with some more Div 1 SA Dota, so please do tune in then. Again, the easiest thing is just to follow the channel. Once the title indicates Div 1, you're welcome to come and listen to these wonderful casts. For now, my name's Anal Plus. I'm being joined by Winter and Trent on this great panel, and we'll be seeing you guys on Thursday. Until then.
Bye.